Alright, let's get started with another video here on Panero Atone Pro. As I mentioned in the previous video, still talking about simulated separation, now I'm going to do a separation. This time, it's with a design that has more tones than the initial design, the one we did earlier. Why am I doing this? To prove that the software can recognize colors very well and separate them very well too. However, it won't be 100% perfect because of the quantity, and it's also not practical. So let's get started with the process. It's a very simple process to do as well, just like before. This time there will be more steps, of course. Let's click here on the simulated separation section. 45 LPI screen, standard. I'm not going to change anything here, black fabric color. And now let's start selecting the colors from the design. I'm going to zoom in more here so I can pick up as many colors as possible. I select one. I select another. I'm going to do this a bit faster now. Because we already have the tutorial video from the first step, I select one more color. Another color, now a darker blue. Where can I get it with more intensity? I think this spot looks good. Now it's darker. Alright. Oops, this one? I've already picked it. I gotta pick up the gray tone from the head here. I'm gonna pick a purple, gray, kind of bluish. A really strong, precise gray. Here a light gray. Alright, light gray. I'm also gonna pick a shade of white here. And it's gonna be here close to the gray. Also, it's not a pure white. Okay? And here, the purple from the background is missing too. One more color to select here from the dragon's eye, the one closest to the face. So we have 6 colors in total. I'll try to do it this way to see if it can pick up a lot more colors. If I add it here, nah, it's gonna scan the design. Look. Besides the 3 we had, it picked up all these here. So 6 more colors. So that'll be a total of 12 colors. 14 screens in all. Now this is where the feasibility part comes in, and it's just not worth it. That's a lot of screens. 14 screens ends up being really unfeasible. Unless you're going to do a job on a massive scale with just this design. Alright, you get it? But I think this already goes beyond what's viable. Let's put it as okay. Here, we'll keep the 6 colors it identified to see the final result. I'm going to leave the proportion large so we can get the best possible resolution in the preview. And now it's just a matter of waiting for the process to finish. It's going to take a little while, so I'm not going to keep talking here and bug you. I'll let it run and come back when it's done. Finished. All done. I sped up the video a bit. It wasn't actually that fast. It took quite a while, about 3 or 4 minutes. And now it's starting to add the color layers for our preview. Just wait for it to finish. It's mapping everything, adding layer by layer so that everything lines up correctly. And it's still finishing up. Since there's so many colors, even in the final process, it takes quite a while because there are a lot of layers and a lot of files. That's why if you use a file or a design with a lot of colors, it ends up being pretty heavy on memory. It mapped everything, and it's finishing up now. And gave us our final result. Man, it looks good. It really does. It looks awesome. But when it comes to feasibility, like I said, it ends up not being worth it. Because here, besides the preview, we have 14 screens, from 0 to 13. So that's a lot of screens to reveal, and it ends up making the process really unfeasible. That's why we have DTF and DTG, to handle these complex designs and apply them at a lower cost, while still keeping really high fidelity. If I take a look at the original image here, Zooming in, you can see that it preserved the color tones really well. When you go to print, if you use the right colors when transferring to the screens, you'll get a very accurate result, showing that our software works. It also gives you all the separated films by color, from the very first step, the white base, to all the others. But in that case, the process just isn't worth it. So here, you would have a very high cost to reproduce artwork that DTF can do at a much lower cost. And that's it. In the next tutorial, I'll apply a simpler design with both a white and a colored background.